Boundaries.
Oh, Annie. All right. I'll talk about that. I wanted to say something. We'll talk about it at the end. All right. We talk about setting boundaries. I tell somebody that the most important thing to do in any relationship is to set boundaries. But then, what kind of boundaries do we set? And how do we set the boundaries is very important. Why we set the boundaries too is very important. All right. Why we set boundaries is very important. The kind of boundaries we set is very important. So, I begin with what is a boundary or what are boundaries? Can somebody get to tell me about it? What are boundaries? What do you think is a boundary?
To me, in simple knowledge, a boundary is like limits to certain that is stating limits to certain activities or areas that are occupied by individuals, and yes, certain limits to
Okay.
relations. Mhm.
Who
I'm thinking
else?
that I want to say something. I'm thinking that a boundary is some sort of putting some rules and regulations that must be followed by a particular people at a particular time.
Okay. Who else? Boundaries.
Want to think. Let me think aloud.
Think aloud. Oh, who is thinking?
It's
Glorious
Glory.
lady.
Yeah, I want to think that setting boundaries is like defining the scope,
Okay.
what it involves and what it does not involve.
All right. What it involves and what it does not involve. All right. Setting boundaries. I said, okay, let me define it from, say, boundaries as relates to marriage and families are imaginary lines or limits that define how family members relate with each other. We say they are imaginary lines, right? So they are in the brain, they are in the mind. They are imaginary lines that define how family members relate with each other. Are we there?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, it means that, what are we saying here? Boundaries, these are things in our mind that are set. There are lines that are set. They define the limits. Not so. That define the limits to each other amongst people. How do we relate? This is your limit. Like I said, boundaries have to do with the way husband and wife relate, parents relate, children relate with their parents, couples relate with their in-laws. All of that has to deal with the success of the marriage, has to deal with the boundaries that are being set. Boundaries are set based on intimacy, closeness, affiliation, all of those things, their roles. You know, right? So there's a boundary, there's a limit. Husbands and wives, some people, they want to set rigid boundaries, very strict. Don't is don't. In the house, nobody can ever take any decision except the father. In the house, nobody can ever cook food except the mother. In the house, nobody should go to the pot to serve anybody. Those are boundaries, and it depends. So we have boundaries like that. You should not eat food. Is it written anywhere? No. It's not written anywhere in the house that when daddy and mommy, or when they are not in the house, you people open the gates to the strangers. No, it is not written anywhere. So they are imaginary. They are in your brain. They are in your mind. The family has sat down and have discussed it, and it is in the mind of the people as the family has spoken about it. So the boundary has to deal now with, okay, husband and wife, number one, how do we deal with this thing? How do we deal with these children? What are their limits? Should we just be and children just enter our room? At what time should children enter our room? At what time should we bring somebody in the house? Who comes to the house at what time? So in your subconscious, it is there. So much so that if, for example, we put our boundary, we say, we don't want visitors in our house after 8. Nobody enters this house. If they did not write it anywhere, you know that unconsciously when 7:30, 8 o'clock is meeting you, you are already shaking. You are already, hi, you start looking, you are very uncomfortable. Some people, boundaries may work even when they are free. It keeps them in captivity. Because it has been a routine in their life. You say historically, marriage is something that it is viewed as an institution, just like that. You know, like I say, it's an institution that admits a man and a woman to live a family life. Simple, a man and a woman. So today, a lot of things, that is why the boundary line is being defined by history through culture and tradition. Like we were saying that the man is the head because it's the man that pays the dowry. And he was saying that, okay, what about the case now? We said that is where culture comes in as far as marriage is concerned. Tradition says it is the woman when the uncles come, but the boundary is there. Some people, mother-in-law should just go to the kitchen. No, couples set their boundaries. That whether it is maternal mother-in-law or paternal, nobody enters the woman's spot. And in the man's mind, it is settled like that. That's a type of boundary. So when we talk about boundaries, we talk about lines that people put, family members put, in order to easily relate with each other. Okay, are we there?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we have boundaries that can be elastic or rigid. Are we there? Boundaries can be elastic or rigid. Boundaries that are established with the vision of the couple in mind. Hear this. Boundaries that are established with the vision of the couple in mind are not seen as restrictive. In other words, they are not rigid. They say such boundaries are a means to, for example, it say a vehicle achieving the vision of the couple. So, for example, a couple can decide that we don't give more than this amount per month outside because of the couple's goal, their vision. So they set boundaries. No matter what is happening, a man tells you, a woman will say, we cannot go. You go to the house, no matter what you explain and explain, there is an amount they cannot give you, no matter how desperate you are. No matter how in need you may be, it's because they have set a boundary, their financial boundaries in their home. They say, if it is my sister, this is what we are giving. If it is my brother, if it is your own, if it is your mother, your father. But you see, it is not, for example, imagine that at this level, it cannot be rigid. It cannot. It cannot be rigid. I want to give an example of an elastic boundary sometimes. You people are in the house and without calling, your mother-in-law just enters. Whether maternal or paternal mother-in-law, like whether it's from the man or the woman. What will you do? According to your boundaries, people were not expecting. So somehow you have to create room for that. And that's why the best boundary is an adaptive boundary now, where it's elastic to an extent. You can adapt. But boundaries are always very important. So it is no more rigid. We don't want anybody in this house. It becomes adaptive. Now, in the sense that if the man has to, for another example, if the man has to pay a bill or take a decision, and in that place where the man has to take the decision, he was absent. An adaptive bound shows that the woman can take a decision on behalf of the man because she has a full understanding of how their visions, their goals, and their dreams work in the house. So she can take the decision on behalf of the man, not based on her, but based on their couple's vision. In the absence of the man, the woman can take the vision. So these are adaptive, and it is the best for building a successful family, good couple, where you can create space, but you are still within the boundaries of the marriage. You see, you are still within the boundaries of the marriage. Adaptive boundaries is when each spouse can take a decision on behalf of the other, but within the boundaries of the couple. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes, that one is very clear. Okay. It says you take it without fear. You just know that this decision that I take, it happens especially with women. Yes, my husband is not. but I already know what we have in hand. And then maybe your husband is not, and the sister or the mother comes in and they need money. And you are there. He's not there. You already know, according to your visions, that, okay, this amount cannot go, or this amount, this is what I can say. Because when couples are flexible, it is easy to build adaptive boundaries, to set adaptive boundaries. When couples are flexible, it is very easy with them. Are we there? Yes. Adaptive boundaries is the most ideal for healthy couples and family building. So our mind knows our limit. I will not just take decision because your husband is not, so it's an opportunity to prove a point. No, that is not an adaptive boundary. You are breaking the limits. But I know that if my wife is not, and there is a need, if you are a man, you know that this thing will not affect us, our boundaries as a couple. A man said something like, he was talking about setting boundaries, and this is the example. He said in their home, they have decided that it is his wife that manages their finance. And according to their finance, he has an amount that he has to use monthly for data, internet, whatsoever, phone bills. His mother visited that period. His bill, he has is finished before, and for unconsciously he was asking his wife in the presence of his mother, like, my this thing is finished, please, can you? The wife was like, no, you have exceeded. So because boundaries that the man had set with his, he didn't feel frustrated. He had to plead with the wife. He says, when he was saying that, now just give it, okay, I understand. Yes, I'm sorry. And the mother was like, are you for real? You are begging your wife your money. You know how mothers can. So if is best in doing what? In every couple. Some people, it is their husband that can disturb them. Others will say, no, it's their wives that are the good manager. But an outsider who doesn't understand their boundaries may look at it like, okay, when we have diffuse boundaries, is the type that you live your life and go, nothing we just live anyhow, which is not good for a couple. In marriage, it's not good for people to live this time. You carry your own and go. Okay, you go to the house, you come anytime. Sure, you come to the house anytime, you just go out. Oh, there is no limit to when you should go and when you should come. It yes.
Plastic boundaries, rigid boundaries, that's the adaptive
Yes.
boundaries, yes, and there are shoes boundaries. Is that?
Yes.
We have 3.
Yes.
Okay.
That. Are we there?
We there for Roto.
All right. Have you established boundaries in your marriage? Have you ever? Because they are imaginary. Sometimes, as you people are going, you just see that it's not a formal school that you come and sit. It can be formal to adapt it, and it can be informal. It can just start by you understanding. You just know this person. You know, in your mind, understanding somebody's temperament, already you know the boundaries. You know the person's limit. So naturally, that's why they say they are imaginary lines.
Yeah.
And then when you people are talking now, you already know in other aspects. Like when we're doing premarital counseling, we talk about individual vision and couples vision. You see that your individual vision it is not about you only when you marry. There is a couple's vision. So if your interests, your boundaries are to favor only your individual vision, then you are not doing well to your marriage. Because the two had to be together and they come again with their own couple's vision. So along the line, we said, okay, we want to do this. This is our limit. When we get married, we don't want anybody to stay with us. Some other people will take one child from the village and start staying from day one. And don't ask us anything until this child goes to the university. Nobody should ask. Financial. And then other aspects. Does it work? Do you think you have a kind of, what kind of boundary do you have in your marriage? Is it adaptive, rigid, or diffuse? You can say your own. No? It depends on how you are managing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you have your boundaries. Your own. This is my second assignment, as I'm saying. Only one person did the last one. This is another one again. Only one person has done my assignment. And it concerns you, not me. What are the boundaries, married people, that you think you have set, especially? What type of boundaries do you think you are doing? Is it all the 3, which I think sometimes?
Yes, so in my own end, all of them are there depending on the domain.
Yes.
I'm seeing all the boundaries in my marriage.
There is a don't touch. There is a no-go area here.
There are some that are very rigid. Some are elastic, and some are just diffuse.
This one, if you touch it, you are finished in this house.
And then as I began to observe, I realized that there are some that started as elastic and have evolved to diffuse.
It goes like that. You are just mixing the matter now.
Yes. In some domains.
Well, we have to mix sometimes, but sometimes it just depends, especially at one point. At what point, in which area, like you said, because there is a need for compromise in all. There is a need to have a space. Like they'll tell us, you need your space sometimes. So that time that you are creating your space is a rigid boundary. Not so. It is rigid. It said, this is my private space. Don't even try. If you try, you are breaking the rules. And they already know that, okay, at this point, like now, let me say this, your program that you are going, according to your marriage, it's a rigid boundary. Like now, nothing should disturb, no child should come and say they are hungry now. It is a rigid boundary during this period.
Very rigid.
Yes, you don't want anything. Because these boundaries help to build, generally, to build a healthy family. You don't just sit and you leave a loose anyhow. Imagine you cooking a pot. Anybody has the right to go and enter. At the end of the day, some people always eat, some people will not eat.
Exactly.
So whether they like it or not, people should not just enter the pot anyhow. That's just the truth. So you put those boundaries to protect the interests of everybody. If you are with children in the house, that boundary, those boundaries have to be there. If you are only with your spouse, the boundaries have to be there, because these boundaries help to build the individual and the couple. Please don't overset boundaries. Especially in the sexual boundaries, please be careful. I'm talking some of these things like that. We know them. Be very careful how you set your sexual boundaries. I'm sure I'm not shaking a table here, but I'm just saying my own. There are boundaries you should be.
You are surely saying something.
There are boundaries. Now like that, I'm not touching that area. We'll touch maybe sometime in the future. We can touch it. But there are boundaries that before you want to be selfish or self-centered about, check the consequences to your marriage. Because it is me. No. All right. Like I just said, sexual boundaries anyhow. It's not you just taking the decision. It must either be a dialogue or something you have worked. I'm saying my own and I'm passing in this course. When we enter the next course, we'll be talking. Okay. Boundaries build, how to, importance of boundaries. Okay. We set boundaries to establish order. That's the first important thing. Boundaries are set to establish order. I'll highlight, then you make your notes. Number 2, anyone that will not understand will explain, right? Establish hierarchy. The man knows his place, the woman knows, the man knows his place, the woman knows her place, and the children is boundary. Like I said, in some families, there are some dishes you should not touch because it is daddy's dish. That's already a boundary. It's not written anywhere, but this one belongs to daddy. So if they meet you in that house eating from that dish, you are in trouble. Who gave you daddy's dish? True or false?
True.
So it sets hierarchy. Even some positions, you just know that you don't sit in this position. This position in the house, it's not your own. So when somebody of the family that knows that rule enters and he sees you, hey, if the mother sees you sitting on the husband, you just, only the either they'll pick you, you explain why you just get up. Because the boundary is being set. Nobody sits here. So if they meet you there, you are violated. I'm just saying these simple things that we do every day. And automatically they become part of our life, so much so that our children already know that that is daddy's dish. Don't touch mommy's thing.
Or daddy's chair.
That food like that, don't touch it. Those are simple boundaries. So it gives an importance. Establish hierarchy. It established a new beginning, especially for a new couple. So boundaries establish a new beginning. Okay, these two people just got married. This is what I really don't like, except otherwise. Except otherwise. People should not get married and they're already carrying somebody into their new home, especially young boys and girls. This boundary helps them to establish new beginnings. It's a challenge. To some people, it's not, but it's good. They need their space. They need their space. So they need to start on a clean something. You are not sending sister-in-law to go and be saying, hey, is your brother's wife treating you well? Did you eat today, tomorrow in the night? All of those things. How did you eat? Boundaries help people at this new beginning to build their minds. A new beginning, boundaries help people to realize. So boundaries protect treasures. All right. It's normal. This is our fence. This is our house. There are a lot of things. The children, see, in every family, the children know their family treasure. They know the things that they should say and do that will affect their family. That is precious. They should not touch. They know the places that they should not even go. Treasures even are family secrets. This secret belongs to our family. So boundaries preserve. There are some people who can stop their children from going to some other family members because of some family secrets. So boundaries help to preserve, to protect treasures of the family. And then boundaries helps us to better allocate our resources. This is your salary. You are sending this money to this. You are sending. So because we are earning this, we cannot send more than this. We cannot spend more than this. We should not. We want to build a house. So this amount should now go to the house. We want to buy a car. We want to build. We want to buy a land. Boundaries help us to allocate our resources. Boundaries also help us to focus. That's it. It helps us to focus. Especially because boundaries helps us to divide roles too and responsibilities. So it helps you to focus. The mother is focusing and cooking. The children are focusing and washing plates. The father is focusing and watching TV.
Watching TV.
Mother in the kitchen. Father in the parlor. Children are outside playing handball. This is the end of my story. Okay, we have seen the importance of boundaries. Any question? Why do we need to set boundaries? Is very important. It even fosters growth. Boundary helps us to grow. Yes. So you don't just spend anyhow. You don't just go to anywhere anyhow. You set your boundaries and it helps you to grow because, for example, a woman who always just stay in there, I did just go work at me. I'm just going me. You don't have a limit. Where are you going to? Well, I'm just going somewhere. I'm coming. Like seriously. You are just going somewhere. You will not grow. You don't even, you go and sit and you are just gossiping anyhow. You are just talking the whole day, just saying rubbish. You are not growing. But when they set boundaries and they say, see, that man will even tell you, I don't want to see you. The boundary, I'm not even spending time, this number of time here. So individually and as a group, boundaries help us to grow. Are we there?
Right there.
All right. How many time left? Any question? Oh my God. Any question?
There is supposed to be a question.
Yep. Okay. I'm getting you. I'm getting you, please.
It is,
Mabia, I'm getting you.
yes, so during a pre-counseling, we really have to bring this importance of setting boundaries to the couple during courtship or during pre-counseling.
Yes. Yes. This is part of your marriage package, your counseling package.
Okay.
Yes, there is, you just have to understand couple, how to set their boundaries, teach them the importance and all of this. How do they even set boundaries? Are we there?
Yes, so
This is a whole package. In this package, you will see how when you are doing marriage counseling, premarital counseling or the post-marital, because anything after marriage is post-marital counseling, the challenges they are facing, they will face at each stage in life. Like we spoke about conflicts. When you are doing premarital counseling, you will make the couple to know that conflict is something that it's okay. Don't be stressed, but limit your conflict. You teach them what you understand by conflict. You try to make them to understand the importance of solving their conflict, of resolving their conflict early or avoiding conflict.
Okay.
Now, in this school, you are having the knowledge of a counselor and what you will have to digest and break down to give to your counselees.
Right.
At what stage is what is important? Like all about the premarital counseling that I gave. You start from You make them to understand, okay, what is marriage to you? You make them to understand their temperaments. You make them, you see this difference. Understand vision, couples vision, money management, which will be taught. Help them as you are doing, you are seeing their lives. And you now know what to be adding at what point as you carry them along.
Wow.
What is it? You get it?
Yes, ma'am.
You carry them right to, for example, you are supposed to even teach them sex education. It is part of their premarital counseling, which you as a counselor, you have to study.
Yes.
It is part of it. So you have to teach them. You have to know all of these aspects that we are learning here that makes marriage. Then you will know at one point. That's why there is a counselor's guide. Like I said, what I'm teaching, we are teaching here. We are teaching counselors. Now, with the knowledge, at the same time, we are teaching counselors and counselors at the same time. You see what is happening?
Yes, because it is now that I'm learning some of these things. If I had them at the beginning, maybe I wouldn't have been at this junction.
Yeah, thank God it's not late. Like we just went out to Limbe. So it is not late.
Minister Glory, don't laugh. This is the truth.
Mafia has not recovered from Limbe trip, so we are only waiting for the next one that will overtake this one for her to recover.
I'm waiting for mommy to just say it. I don't even know why she's still holding it.
Allah.
Oh
so
my
that
God.
is it. Mabia, all of these program that we are giving to you people is to equip you to be a counselor. If there is any aspect that you now, you were completely lost, you go back and get it. You learn more. You will be learning more. That's why mommy says this thing is not ending. You are learning, relearning, and unlearning.
And unlearning. Child. It's just by grace.
So you
that
get it. Yes, it's by grace. For real. So when you see somebody now, you want to talk about, no, you are looking at the person from different angles. Like we spoke about conflicts. You see, I told you for the different ways in which couples resolve their conflicts. You see now, then your role as a marriage counselor, it is about the spiritual, the psychological. You are looking at the case. You are the person to diagnose. I taught us in conflict resolution. That's why I say bringing in the big picture is very important.
Yeah.
Because a man or a woman can tell you a lie until leave. You are too emotional, and that's why in counseling we say separate the emotions from the problem.
Okay.
Yes. A man can come and tell you how the wife has deprived him from sex. The wife has not given him food for the past 3 years. The wife is wicked. But you know that is not the problem. Those are the fruits of the problem. So can you tell me why this woman has not given you food, has not given you sex, she does not even clean the house again? It's not because she's lazy. Something happened. Or this man, the man can come and sit like this, or the woman will tell you how, yes, I've not had allowance. This man has been, no. Take the emotions from the problem.
Okay.
And you diagnose it. Because if you don't do that, you'll be looking at this thing. That's why. Hey God, maybe I imagine you, a mother. If your son calls you now, do you know how emotional you will be? Imagine your son calling you now and telling you that, mommy, if you know what this woman has done, see, even that woman has been good. You know what you first of all think? I beg my 9 months. Don't joke with it. That's the first thing you would think. This my 9 months that have suffered. What has come over that? Then you just sit before you separate, because the way he will explain it, if you don't even take time to listen to that lady, you will just cry. You will just know. So if you don't separate it, it will be difficult for you to really manage. And that's why when it's difficult like that, when it's more than you, send it to somebody that does not have any emotional attachment.
Right.
If it's too much, send the person to your coach or maybe to another colleague that you trust. If the counseling really needs, don't enter it. Your emotions are already there. Your emotions are already there. I remember mommy told me that, not that she could not counsel her daughter. In all of her counseling, she had to still give them another marriage counselor. You get it? Because sometimes, if she had to do it all by herself, she may be too emotional. So she had to look again and say, okay, go to this man. So that's how sometimes it goes. You separate even your own emotions. Because the way some people can explain things to you, you can just, so at that point, oh God, help me, this is not my case. This is not it. I know the solution, but I cannot manage it now because of this. Either I send you to go and come, or go to somebody. Please, we are talking about destinies. You don't take your emotions and you jeopardize. It's too dangerous. I know it. So these are the things that we talk about when we talk about following. All of these things I have taken, we took 2 months. I think I thought premarital counseling and courtship, that was all. It is a whole process. If somebody wants to get married in 2 years, I know how to program my counseling session. If somebody has to get married in 6 months, you, as a counselor, you should know which one is a priority. That is it. Bring them to that. That's why you are studying this course.
Okay.
What Pastor D is teaching, Mommy is teaching personal development. All of these topics put together is what will build you as a counselor. When you are talking with somebody, you say, I get sense. I'm not just talking. Now, I'm not talking only my experience. I'm talking from the volume of the books. Yes. You see, yes. Your experience was just a template. It just helped you to see another aspect. Or your experience is just another aspect of marriage that helps you to really push further. You see, like in these things that we are teaching here. So, how do we set boundaries in marriage? Answering this question is helpful. Number one, I said define marriage. In setting your boundaries, you first of all define marriage. You see now, if you ask somebody what is marriage, do you know what some people know that is marriage? Marriage is two people just agreeing to live together. That's concubinage, right? Cow stay.
Mhm.
But to some people, that's marriage. Until the woman is telling you, my husband, the man is telling you, my wife. To them is marriage. Wife, nothing. As many children as they are giving birth to children out of wedlock. They are not married. But to them, they are married. That's why, according to tradition, if you give birth to a child out of marriage, the day you want to go and get married, they always say something different from that child, right? They always say something different. They always, whether they say you pay extra money because of that child or something. So let the people define marriage. What is marriage to you? What is the purpose or the vision of your marriage or relationship? The question to ask to really define their marriage. What is their purpose? Who inspires them? Or who inspires you in your marriage or your relationship? That's a question in defining marriage. Who inspires you? So certain boundaries in marriage are determined by our spiritual belief system. The meaning we make out of marriage and our agreement we negotiate with our spouse. Spirituality, I will not overemphasize because Papa T is already emphasizing on the importance of spirit. That somebody will tell you that marriage is between a man and a woman. So when it is just between a man and a woman, they tell you, hey, we don't need any third party. No matter what is going on, they don't need a third party. Leave us. They make it too rigid sometimes. You see now, okay, there are other people who believe that marriage is family. You know those people, sometimes they don't really have limits. Their boundaries are just like that. It embraces everybody. Our wife, our husband, our children, you know. These are people who believe that this marriage is not just about two people. It's about a group of people.
Pastor, me, I have
So,
a question.
yes, ma.
Is it really advisable for people that's in a courtship who thinks that them being apart is kind of costly, like they want to cohabit for some time before, like a way of reducing expenses and all that? Is it advisable to cohabit?
No.
Okay.
Who is answering? Somebody just said no.
Sorry,
Mabia, what do you think?
I'm the one saying no. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was a question.
Yeah, anybody can answer before we see how we can go.
Okay.
What do you think about cohabiting before marriage?
No,
Me, I'm
I say
thinking that
it is not a good idea because when during courtship, when they get together, they might be tempted to go ahead with some of the activities that need to come in only after when they are already married.
Cohabitation is an unbelieving idea. Full stop.
Yes. Mhm.
It's an unbelieving idea.
Mhm.
So because we believe that we Christians, Bible-believing children of God, believe that marriage starts the day your bride price is paid, all along in the Bible. It does not even start the day that you are introduced. Check all the way the marriages were done. They just bring and carry. When David's son wanted to rape the sister, he was lost in. The sister said, no, go and even tell my mom. Those things, there is two families must agree and a token, a sign being done for people to be married. Even that thing say, okay, knock door. Knock door is not marriage.
Mhm.
Knock door is not marriage.
Yes.
Sometimes we need to set these things straight. They don't can see my mommy, my papa them. They see them now like who? We have gone and seen them. You have entered courtship. You are not married. So don't go and start staying there. Seeing them is engagement. What we call engagement, where you officially make your intention known. That's knock door. You make your intention known to your would-be in-laws. Then they put their checks, they put their own, they are finding, they do their own, and at the end they say, okay, this is what you have to do to finalize this thing. Marriage starts the day they pay your bride price. You are married. After your traditional marriage, hear me, you can go and live with the man. But because you are a child of God, it is advised to take it till
Church.
when your bride price is paid, you are married. But because you are a child of God, you take it till the end. Are we there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I'm saying so.
Thank you.
We will not counsel only believers.
Yeah.
The problem with the world now is, you see this thing, cows stay, let's come. At the end of the day, they don't see you finish. You don't get any legal right. The girl has the right to leave, or the man has the right to leave. There's no legal right. No village people will come and say, you have used our son, you have used our daughter. Village people will not follow you. You are innocent. People were playing your game. So village people will not follow you. But the village people will follow you if you ate something. So that is just it. The culture says that take this thing when you go to that house, give it there and bring their daughter. So there must be a token from the Bible that shows that you have dowried or you have paid that girl's bride price. Oh, okay. Any question? Maybe we should be rounding up. Next week, we'll just take certain boundaries, you know, how to set boundaries. We'll work on that detailedly more.
Okay.
Any question?
Mm-hmm.
From anywhere?
During premarital counseling.
Yes, ma'am.
In advising the couple to set boundaries, some might set boundaries that they may disagree on. So how do
Okay.
you come in?
For example, in premarital counseling, you ask the man, how many children do you want to have? 3. That's a boundary. Let me start from there. They ask the woman, how many children do you want to have? 5. 3 and 5. What do we do? I think it's Pastor D that said this thing. Pastor D has thought of that. You bring, is it Pastor D? Okay, let's leave it like that. Now, this is what you do. The work of the counselor is to bring the people to the best possible points of acceptance. You get it? Counseling, you are not in a hurry. Don't think counseling is this thing that we come and we do 1 hour, finish one topic, or no. Not in a hurry to diagnose a patient. 2 hours class, a 2 hours counseling session. You have an objective to attend. You don't start with vision, you enter into money, you go into sex, you enter into boundaries. No.
All right.
You don't.
Each session has a topic. Each session has an objective.
Has an objective. You plan your counseling time. It's just that we have a timetable here now. We are talking about setting boundaries. We are talking about this topic. So no matter how we touch, we may touch, but this is the priority. So they don't take you out and you people look like it's a discussion. Like here we have spoken, we just spoke about Limbe and we came back.
Pastor Me, when you look at all of this and in practical real life, people set in for 2 weeks for a premarital counseling. They have already set a date to get married. In that short period of time, do you coin all of this to the table?
You don't even do any counseling, Mom. I'm telling you the truth. You cannot do real counseling. It's like you are a teacher. A student comes 1 month to GCU. What will you be doing? You leave them to lock. I see you. Intensive care wedding.
You leave them to go, and then when they get into intensive need, they then come looking for
you. You leave them to lock. You just tell them, my dear, marriage is not easy. I wish you for the best. Because at that time, what that boy is thinking, is money that he has to spend. What the girl is thinking is her wedding gown and her bridesmaids and her. What are you telling them? Nothing. So forget. Now I see you. They don't do premarital counseling. And that's what most churches are failing. I'm not lying. Most marriages fail in church because they assume a lot. Pastors don't want to say, I'm not in this nonsense. I will not get married to you people. In as much as we don't say you must do marriage counseling, but there are some people that you know that this marriage like that, it will not work. I'm telling you. When my marriage failed, that's why many people were like, and we really saw this, that people are wicked, get out, people are wicked. Maybe one of the things that is making me to be radical now is this thing that somebody saw something and they say, but we did not want to tell you where. You see, when I just saw it, that's why me, I will tell you and then let the marriage be sweet. At least I've told you.
Very important.
And then when you go, the thing is back. You know that somebody told you. These are some of the things that make me, when you see me, I'm radical with this marriage and I'm strict with some things. I don't laugh. If somebody comes 1 month wedding, Master, would you prepare your wedding? It's not premarital counseling. It is not. So ready to assume. I will tell you whatever I want to tell you, but that's not counseling. That's advice. You see, yes, I'm just advising you. Well, this thing that you are taking, this how it is. This how counseling should be at least 6 months. At least.
Right.
So that thing that people are coming 3 months, in that 3 months, they're already thinking how their bridesmaid dress will leave from there and come there. My wedding dress, I've ordered it. Not like that. I don't even have enough money. Hey, I have to work for money. And no, they are wasting time. I refuse that nonsense. I'm saying the truth. Marriage is survived by grace. I'm not refusing. But in this generation, maybe especially children of God are denied. Not to talk of the marriage that you people have not been together in the church, in the same church. You get it now? In the same environment. It's different.
Yes.
But you not just come with one man or one woman from somewhere in the name of this is we are how, under which authority, under which umbrella. You are a child of God, I'm a child of God. No, we know that marriage is not just a spiritual something. It is not just, we don't just pray in marriage and fast. We don't just read the Bible. We put food on people's table. We understand people's temperament. We pay bills. And how do we do about these things? So if people don't sit up, tomorrow, we saw this, they are saying people are wicked. People are witches and wizards. I don't even blame them. My head was first of all too stubborn.
Mom.
I was stubborn. Mommy, it's true. I know you are surprised. But I was stubborn. So that time, even when God was speaking, I just said, we are children of God. That's the thing that I've said. If I don't diagnose the spirit, there are people that have come to me. I just told them that I know me for this marriage. Me, I'm not lying, Mabia. I just see you people, that thing that people saw, and they did not say it. Me, when I see it, I just tell you one time that you see this man like this or this woman, be ready for this and that. I'm not saying that it will not work. I'm not saying that it will not work, but I caution you.
It's better to be warned than before.
Yes. So a lot, when you see me and this marriage thing, I am radical with that matter until I just tell Master Gerard, you're not even ready to marry. I told one of my daughters like that. I say, see, I told the man, he came and I said, don't quote me scripture. I put him on one test, he failed. I told that daughter, I said, you won't die. I'm not saying that don't marry you. I'm not threatening you. I'm not wishing you ill luck. But go and try your best. If it happens like this, you manage it like this. At least you know now. It did not make how many months. The thing showed up. The girl's mother called me and said, thank you, Pastor Me. Thank you, because what I have seen, if I'd allowed this marriage go through, I didn't read it from any book. The Spirit of the Lord told me that this one, the picking goes so far. And exactly it was like that.
And in most cases, the girls that are coming in, they are small, they are young, they are naive.
Yes.
All they are just covered and carried away that they are in
We
love.
just take church. One brother that can pray and preach. Abia, Atron. Me, you pastor. Abia, I'm not joking. I'm telling you the truth. God knows why he put me. I'm too concerned about premarital counseling because marriage trouble is already ICU. That's where the ignorance starts. And if you didn't give them knowledge, they entered there. They were ignorant about conflict. Now toothbrush has brought a conflict. You have put your own toothbrush, but you have not covered. You have pressed it from under. You have pressed it from middle. The thing sets in. They didn't understand temperament. They didn't understand all of these things. How some people act. They just say we were praying together in church. My friend, I'm a pastor. If you come for me for counseling, I am the one that has to introduce spirituality to you and reinforce it, not you reinforcing it to me. Truly. Maybe it's time. You know.
Pastor Me, don't while.
And
Pastor,
why didn't I?
Pastor,
No,
me,
the
when
rate
we
at which
go,
people
when we will next go to Limbe, these are the kind of
Talks that we
things,
should be
because
having.
time will not be our problem.
Oh, yes.
Pastor Me has come out of her shells.
Mommy is right
Pastor,
now. I've
Pastor,
come up.
Pastor,
See now,
me, you are
today
sitting
like
with all
this.
these things like this. You are not telling me that is still to enter. You are keeping it now for what?
People are hearing this.
Eh,
Annie,
wait.
again. Annie, you're looking for my trouble. Annie, stop
Mm.
this record, though. Let's not be recording foolishness. Now we
Let
are
me,
discussing.
okay, wait, let
No
me stop the
foolishness.
record
Let him-
first. Let me just post it. I will not stop.
Bye, goodbye. We should be
Bye.
recording what again. They
I
are
want
closing the
to,
meeting.
I want to stop